Hi. So this rant has been coming for a long time, but the thing that finally pushed me over the edge and forced me to make it was a tweet from the Bearded Stoner that says, "Why would Anne Frank have been a believer? No, in fact, millions blindly following an idiot is why she was in that attic." What people don't seem to realize about the Holocaust is everyone seems to think it was some big thing where millions of German people just decided to completely ignore Hitler's tactics and his methods and everything and just blindly put all their faith in him and let him do whatever he wanted. This is not the case. The way Hitler came to power, not necessarily Hitler, but the Nazi Party came to power, was because of this weird method that Germany used to calculate seats in their government, and basically it all worked out to they gained a little bit of power of time until they had complete power, basically, and Adolf Hitler happened to be in charge of that party at the time. But in Germany, there was so much propaganda from the government. There weren't TVs that you could just turn on the TV and see what was happening. And even if there were, you would still only be able to see what the government wants. They didn't have a computer that they could sit down to and instant message someone that lives in Poland, or instant message a Jewish person that lives across the world. And just, I don't know why a Jewish person would live across the world. That was a bad example. But they didn't have that communication. They only knew what their government allowed them to know. And there was so much propaganda going around that they had no idea what was really going on, who they should really hate, who they should be afraid of. The German people were most likely very informed because at the time they were very scared. And that's what forced them to act the way they did. Now, when the Nazi Party first became a thing, it became a big deal and they started using their army viciously. People did not it wasn't like every German man set out to go kill all the Jews or the homosexuals or the gypsies or the drunks. It wasn't, the problem was at first there were a few, 100 people or so that abused the power. And they did so in the ways that they were supposed to and they were directed. But it got to when they needed more people who would follow orders. It came down to, you're not allowed to have this job. You have to be in the army. If you don't do what we tell you, you won't get your compensation. Your family will be in danger. You won't be able to support your family. People did what they had to do in order to support their families and keep themselves alive. And it got to the point where it came down to doing some things that they didn't agree with or letting their families starve to death. Can you honestly say that if you were put in the position to look at your children and say, I've been taught all of my life that these people are evil and these people are the destruction of my country, but I'm going to spare their lives over the lives of my 3-year-old children? Would you honestly be able to say that? Because I don't think I would. I'd like to think I would be able to kill someone, but if it came down to my kids or a stranger who I had been taught to hate, I'd probably kill the strangers. They did not always have a choice. Sure, some of them went with it knowing what they knew, but not everyone had that option. The Holocaust was not blindly following idiots. The Holocaust was scared people listening to what a manipulative government allowed them to know. And yes, the German people had a lot of responsibility in that. But everyday German citizens that just happened to be living in Germany or Poland, the Czech Republic, or wherever they happen to live, should not be held responsible for the Holocaust, because chances are they had just as little choice in the matter as the Jews who were being killed. The more you know.